Alright, all you month-changing pre- or post-midnight riders out there, welcome back to Under the Radar. And this week's Stunts of the Week, and yes, we picked two, folks, comes from not only Owlman with his stunt, Watt, or Wolt, and also from the Twitter page of Skatebird with their stunt, Skatebird, from the game Skatebird. And the reason why we picked these two stunts, folks, well, for one, if anybody can kick a car harder than the Incredible Hulk and cause it to explode, leading a guy to be in the hospital for the next 8 months, is very incredible and weird to see, and we had to show it to you at home for proof. And the reason why we picked the other stunt is because Carl the Bird needs a new beak and also needs a little bit more attention of why in the world not to try to be fashionable at a skate park. Let that be a lesson to you, Carl the Bird. Let that be a lesson. And besides us handing out painful lessons in the form of stunts, folks, I think it's time to check out which one of you crazy track makers out there knocked it out of the park for this month of sports as we get ready to rev our engines for a very special month-ending edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Month. And the first track that we have up comes from the creator, Genopia, with his said track, G Pool Party XL. And the reason why this track made it in for the tracks of the month, well, the fact that this guy made a giant oversized makeshift skate park out of the blue in the middle of nowhere high above the Alamo Sea is absolutely insane. And not to mention the insane checkpoints that you have to pick up during this race, all while riding in supercars, is definitely the reason why in the world we decided to pick this track for this month. And the only tip of advice we have for you crazy stunners out there, or track riders, because I know you're going to do stunts while you're riding on this track, is to make sure you keep your eye out for all the checkpoints in this race, and don't go too stunt crazy while doing so, because it will cost you during this race. And the next track that we have up, once again comes from Genopia with his said track, G Glacier Rider. And the reason why we picked this track for the track of the month is the fact that he was able to turn Mount Chiliad into a makeshift toboggan racetrack that'll make you feel like the Jamaican bobsled team without being a part of a team. Unless you do a team race for this and have your partner try to drive while you give him directions while heading down the mountain. Because you can do that during this race. And the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there is control while heading down this mountain. Because if you don't have control, let's just say you'll miss a checkpoint and have to go all the way back and lose your momentum along with that control that you had to try to win this race. So yeah, keep control and keep momentum while you're trying to make your way down this big oversized mountain. And the next track that we have up comes from the creator Bada 8 Timo, nice name by the way, with his said track, Crazy Sonora Freeway. And the reason why in the world we picked this track to join the elite tracks of the month, well, a little bit of our Evil Knievel in our blood and the old school taste of what we remember from the last gens made us pick this said track because it causes you to try to jump over a series of buses in the highway, all still while trying to keep your momentum up in the new cars that you get a chance to race in for this game. So the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there for this said track is make sure you pick a car with a non-flat front for the front of the car so you could be able to get enough wind resistance to actually jump over those said buses. Because if you don't, yeah, it will cost you during this race. And the next tip that we have should be self-explanatory, but either way, make sure you pick a car that is fast enough to jump over those buses. Yeah, definitely something you may need. And the next track to make it in for this elite list of tracks for this month comes from the creator, Gilmore50, with her track, Mario Kart Rainbow Road. And according to the maestro, Gilmore50 would be making history with the said track. Cause not only this track made it in for the tracks of the month last year, but it's making it in for this year as well. So congratulations, Gilmore50. And the reason why we just keep coming back to this track is because it's a throwback for an old classic track from an old classic game that gives you the chance to experience Mario Kart in the world of Grand Theft Auto, minus the banana peels, turtle shells, Latiku brothers, or any of the other drivers that you would expect to see in Mario Kart. But I digress. The only tip of advice we have for you fans out there is watch out for the gaps in the tracks. Because if you don't, let's just say you'll fall through and it'll definitely cost you during this race. Because like we said during the tracks of the week that featured this said track, there is no Latiku brother that's gonna save you from actually falling off, and you just have to reset, which will cost you during this race. And the last but not least track, or should I say last man standing map that made it in for this month, comes from the creator, Vasconi, and we finally got his name right, with his said track, or last man standing map of Avalanche Death Run. And the reason why in the world we decided to pick this track to wrap up all the tracks for this month, well, simple as this, folks. The fact that it involves you trying to dodge tanks, oil rigs, and whatever sort of bric-a-brac he decided to toss up in the sky for you to go down a narrow path like you're playing MXC to avoid. And the fact that I forgot that you also have to avoid a tank, a monster truck, and I do believe a cargo bob in there as well, definitely tells you that this guy was not playing around when he made this map. And I think the dump is the only thing that's not included in this said little Paradise Run map. But either way, folks, the only tip of advice we have for you out there for trying to pass this said crazy map is Serpentine. And if not Serpentine, try to grab hold of one of those objects that didn't blow up on the way down and ride your way up to victory to take out your opponent. And if the tank can survive and you cannot get crushed by it, try to go for that. Even though it's a one-seater, but you'll be the one person on your team to survive to help your team win. So yeah, go for the gold. And with that said, folks, wraps it up for yet another monthly edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Month. And with that said, folks, we might as well head back to this music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with the final segment of Under the Radar for this week, right after this. So don't get lost in the madness just yet, folks, and stay tuned.